Hey everyone, this is Josh from before, and I'm here with some selections from the Jazwares World of Halo, which is the 4-inch scale line. And I want to bring these out and talk about them for a few reasons. For one, I don't know that Jazwares is really like a household name when it comes to adult collectors, but I've been pretty impressed. I picked up one of their 6-inch Fortnite figures to do a custom with, and I was surprised at how much I liked that, just the quality of that figure. And then now they've come out with this line, which is this 4-inch scale, and also they've got some a line of Spartans that are in the 7-inch range, and they're very good, surprisingly so. And I just think Jazwares might be kind of a company to watch, so I wanted to talk about them a little bit. And then I don't know that any other Halo line. I know I always see the Mega Blocks. I think it's Mega Blocks, but it's those snap to a symbol types that covers a wide range of Halo vehicles and weapons and characters and what have you. But I don't know that there's ever been a line, a Halo line that covers the whole range from Spartans to aliens to vehicles with a level of detail that would satisfy an adult collector. I know McFarlane did a lot of Halo characters back in the day, and did a lot of different aliens, covered many different games. But as far as like having all the vehicles and everything here, I don't know that I've seen it done as successfully as this. And then I also just sort of, part of the reason I'm so into this is I am a Halo fan, particularly the Bungie era, which is the original trilogy and some of those games from that time period. And these are based on Halo Infinite, which is kind of, they're shifting their design sense back to something that's closer to the original design of those Bungie games. So the sort of the timeline, the representation of the designs in this line are really satisfying toward somebody who's, I wouldn't call myself a Halo purist, but I do greatly favor the original trilogy over the Reclaimer saga, where they've kind of retconned the Forerunner stuff. I won't get into that. So yeah, I've been greatly impressed with this, and I just want to talk about a little bit, just so that you might be aware of them. Before I do want to mention the way I've got them displayed here. These are supported by flight stands that I got for 6 and 7 inch figures. But they're of such good quality, and I was able to configure them in such a way that it supported these vehicles and stuff, which really brings me a lot of satisfaction as far as just when I'm displaying things. I want to, the Warthog from Halo, I want it to be like, jumping over a hill and stuff, and the Ghost obviously flies. So taking advantage of the vertical space when I'm displaying them, and getting some sort of, maybe unexpected, quote unquote poses for the vehicles. That makes me really happy, and I'm gonna include the links to those stands where I got them, if you're interested in that. So I want to jump in and start talking about these. I'm just going to pick them up one by one, and I'm going to start with the lower end of quality, which is going to be the Marines. And the way these scale, the Master Chief is a little bigger than maybe you would see like a one of the 4-inch like Star Wars figures, the retro scale. So these guys are on the small end of a 4-inch scale, And I've got these two Marines here. As you can see, they've got some differences in their sculpt, which is nice if you're trying to army build, you know, to have a little bit of variation. You know, this one has a knife here on his chest piece, and this guy's got a couple pouches instead. They have some differences in their legs below the knee. They have slightly different helmets. It goes a long way just to differentiate these guys from each other. And they've got different guns as well. He's got the battle rifle. I'm drawing a blank on that weapon. But the Marines, they're a little, there's, you know, they work fine, but the way, as you can see here with this one, it's kind of a challenge to really get them to hold a weapon in what I would consider like a naturalistic pose. You know, it just feels a little, you know, not a little forced, a little, you know, phony. And it, you know, you could still manage to do it, but it just a bit of a challenge and not quite as satisfying, you know, as it is to play around with some of the other figures in this scale. He's got this pouch on that leg. A little different. My cat's meowing. So that's it for the Marines. They're not on the you know, high end of the spectrum when it comes to being like really exciting figures to get, but you're not exactly getting Halo toys just to play with the human Marine characters. You know, you want aliens and Master Chief. So I'm going to move over here to this Brute. And before I even get into him, I just want to say the individually packaged figures in this line, they all come with a little stand. The stand has some texture and some paint on it. And they're these hexagons that clip into each other, which is not, you know, it's not the most detailed stand that, you know, you've ever seen or anything. It's just, but it's one of those little kind of, they didn't have to go that hard, and they did. It's a nice touch. But this Brute is maybe not as nice of a touch because he's got some serious mobility issues due to the way he's sculpted. It's kind of, I mean, something like this, and there's no way to get around it. That's a little clown shoes to me. But he does have a removable mask with the face under there that's got some paint applied to it. And, you know, he's got some battle damage in there that kind of just, you know, takes a, you know, it's just nice to have a little bit of attention on the sculpt. Because when you first see it, you're like, well, it's a little plain. You get in there more, there's some detail. It's good. The scale is good. And because at first, actually looking at him first, the scale seemed off maybe. Maybe the Brute wasn't quite as big. So we've got on Halopedia and we looked, and actually the scale it checks out. So they've done their due diligence. And maybe I would prefer to see kind of one of the Halo 2 Brutes with like the flags kind of coming out of their shoulders and stuff. That would be cool. There is one other Brute, slightly different sculpt, similar in the way they did the differentiated the Marines. I do not have it. It's part of a 2-pack. And I don't have that one. So I can't speak for it in person, but if you are a fan of the Brutes, they're well represented. Now I'm going to jump over into this Ghost, actually, which the Ghost, for me, like I said, being a fan of the older games, this paint job doesn't quite make a ton of sense to me. The red color is just not what I remember very vividly. But this the sculpt is great, and you know, the size is great, and it looks really cool. You can see it comes with this Elite, and I've got him sticky tacked to the foot pedals, because that is one thing. This elite, I'm going to take him off, but he's a little loose as far as the articulation. It's hard to get him snug, and sort of firmly posed here riding this ghost. But one nice thing is that the seat pulls out like this, so it makes it easy to, if you want an elite on there, if you want a grunt driving the ghost, if you want Master Chief, maybe he's carjacked the ghost and he's riding in it. You can make that work however you want. And it comes with this elite, which, like the Marines and like the Brutes, there are two different elite sculpts. One of them comes with a 2-pack that I do not have yet. I think this is the solo carded and the one that comes with the ghost, which comes with an energy sword. And this is one of the things that impresses me about this line, is that almost every alien type basically has a completely different sort of, structure. The elites have these horse leg kind of legs, but they're articulated. He could stand up taller. And they've gone to the trouble of creating a well-designed alien sort of base model with the different joint articulation set up, and it just, something about it just feels, it gives the whole line just kind of more depth, and makes me feel like they've really they really care about executing these details well. This elite, by the way, he's a little loosey-goosey, which annoys me a bit, but the sculpt's there. And, it's a little plain, a little simple, but considering the scale of this, and that they nailed the kind of proportions and the shape of the aliens like this. And I want to stay talking about these aliens too, because these two right here are some of the highlights of this entire line. The Grunt, just so cool and just such an unusual shape, but a complete articulation. This ball down here, like they didn't have to execute these as well as they did. There's a joint right there. These giant sort of forearms, like Popeye forearms on the ball jointed shoulders, the head with a huge range, the needler with the clear needles on it. It's just really well done. And again, I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna black wash this guy and bring out some of these sculpted details a bit, and it's gonna be really exciting. So that's the Grunt. And then this is the, which by the way, this guy and the Grunt had a slightly different base. It looks great. Look at the texture on that. It looks awesome. But this Jackal is unbelievable. This kind of horse legs, similar to the elite, with the articulation here. I got a little stuck right now, but these work like so. Another joint down here, that's so rad. The little cutouts in the sculpt here. He's got these fiber kind of hairs. He's got a mouth that moves, and this neck is look. The neck has two joints. I just knocked the gun out of his hand, but it's so cool. It's so cool. I'll grab his carbine. My only sort of gripe is because they've got 2 Marines, they've got 2 Brutes, they've got 2 Elites. I would like to see a Jackal. This is the Jackal sniper. I'd like to see the Jackal, the ground troop with the shields that they carry. and which would be not have this sort of sniper goggles, a different head sculpt. But I mean, yeah, look at the details on the gun. And then finally, now save our hero for last. I'm gonna see if I can pull this Master Chief off here without knocking this Warthog over. The Chief, the man of the hour. Like I said before, they've got a 7-inch Spartan line, and almost every bit of the articulation has made it down to this scale. He's got his BR that I've got on his back. They go on a peg like the Marines. He's got these ball jointed shoulders. He's got a neck. Single elbow, but he can hold his gun just fine, better than those Marines. And then, I mean, just like look at the execution on that knee. Look at that. It's a separate piece on that knee. They didn't have to go this hard, and they did, and it's just really great. And it, you know, he's got some battle damage, some blaster scarring on there, but with the blackwash, even I'm going to bring out even more. And he's got some silver scratches on there. Not a super extensive pass, but you know, and he's got 117, and he's got a nice color visor. And I gotta say, he came with the Warthog. There's also a Mongoose in this scale. I don't have the Mongoose because it also came with a Master Chief. I'm not trying to just like collect a bunch of Master Chiefs of this scale, or even necessarily other Spartans. I'd rather not, like, they're cool, but I'd rather build out more aliens and Marines than have a whole just like army of Spartans personally. And some of so like his right leg, it's pretty tight and nice. Left leg's a little loosey. The plastic's a little bit cheaper. You can feel it, and you can definitely hear it when you hear that sound. But the fact of the matter is, a solo carded one from this line is $10. And then the Warthog with a Chief and the Warthog is $30. But all the other solo carded guys, $10 a piece. It's a pretty good price point for building out a lot of characters. And then the Warthog, I don't have a ton to say about it other than it looks like a Warthog. It's good. The shape is good. Sculpt is good. Tires are kind of rubber, but they don't turn or anything. Some details up in the undercarriage and underneath. Not, you know, it's not gonna be like, you know, Hot Toys level of detail, but it's enough, and it's there, and it's actually constant. The detail is constant. There aren't big shapes, maybe other than these, that look just like a toy. These gas cans on the back, they come off. This antenna and the gun kind of swivels, but it kind of runs into itself in there. You know, you're not going to be doing a full spin because it doesn't clear all the way around, but it does move. I mean, as far as the look goes, and then I'll be doing a black wash, but even without, even just off the shelf, it's a solid looking Warthog. Part of the reason I was hesitant about getting into this line is I saw the Warthog, I was like, oh, cool, that'd be great, but the box only has a photo of the Warthog, and doesn't feel like it really represents necessarily what the toy looks like inside the box. So I was skeptical. That feels like a bad idea, to not actually really show somebody what's in the box. And maybe they kind of rushed this to shelves, so it didn't have full prototype photos and stuff to really show it off. But when you get it out of there, it looks good. And if you find, I mean, I've seen it on sale for $25. It might go down even more. And especially at less than retail, definitely worth it. So there they are again, all set up. You know, before I decided to kind of start picking up some of these characters, I know I wish I would have kind of seen some more people maybe covering them with videos, so maybe this might find you in the same place I was, where it was on the fence, and then once I bought in, I was really surprised and pleased with this Jazwares World of Halo line. And I'm hoping to see more soon. Maybe a Pelican might be too huge, but it sure would be cool to see one this big that could even, carry that Warthog, or the Hunters would be a great, massive, alien to do. As well as like the Prophets, from Halo 2. They definitely need to do an Arbiter, and maybe even Cortana, like the armored version from Halo 5, or who knows what she looks like in Halo Infinite. Yeah. But there you go, guys. Thank you for watching. Thanks for all the comments, all the subscriptions, and all the positive feedback. We will see you next time on From Before Figs. Bye.